Yeah, it's pretty fun. Well, hey, man, it's great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute
Yes,
out.
sir.
And I would love to begin our conversation. We're looking at
Sure.
the calendar right now. 4 years ago in April, the pandemic was really gaining traction. How did you survive the pandemic and how did it change you?
It's a dramatic change because, I was taking cold in that time. I stopped taking cold 2 years ago. I've been taking cold for 40 years, so it was time for me to stop taking colds. I was very, at the beginning, scary because you don't know what is going to wait you. And I remember we have a 10 outside the hospital just for COVID,
Mhm.
and we had no treatment at that time. So the first year was really, and patient they want to show up here in the office. So that's mean probably we had to do telehealth that we never did before. So people would be like we are right now. But more the people that telehealth is just audio because they don't know how to do the you know the FaceTime or the oximeter, whatever we have in that time. Because the government gave a stimulus check, we were able to survive. Otherwise, we're not able to survive. I saw probably about 35 of my colleagues quit the first 2 years.
Wow.
I've never seen that before. So it's very scary because we go to the hospital, and then you put all this special gown, double gloves, and protect your eyes. But you put even stuff in your shoes, protect your shoes, and then you go and see the patient, and we're called to see patient with COVID. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
not like no, that's your consultation today. There's a patient with COVID, a
Yeah.
patient dying in front of you, and then I asked the nurse, how many people had COVID in this floor? I said, all of them. At one point, was like a 70% of the patients in the hospital were just COVID. That was tremendous.
Yeah.
Was a really
So,
bad time. Yeah.
yeah. So let me get to the heart and soul of what you do every day. I'm going to put
Yes.
you in front of a bunch of third graders. It's career day. One of the
Okay.
kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
Well, I had that same question of the third graders a few years ago because my daughter was in third grade.
Okay.
So they invite me to go to school, and I ask what they do. Is, well, take care of patient has brain problem, like a patient with Parkinson, patient has tremors, patient has headaches, like a migraines. Patients sometimes have something we call a stroke when the brain is affected by either a bleeding or swelling, and the patient has a difficulty moving one arm or one leg. And then we see patients with a problem with the back, with neck pain and back pain. That's basically I would respond to a kid because it's difficult to go in more detail with a kid, but that's basically what it is.
Yeah. So when you were in the third grade, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was in kinder, they asked me what I want to be. I say I want to be a doctor.
Okay. All right. You're living the dream. You're living the dream. So,
Yes, my dad was a physician too.
okay. All right. So it's in the family. Well, take me
Yeah,
back to your childhood and how, I mean, even though people grow up with parents that are
yeah.
physicians, sometimes they want to do other things. What was it about your upbringing that made you really want to do this and have it be your life?
I guess I'd always want to be a physician. We have few friends that they told us they asked what we want to be, and five of us as answers that we want to be physician. And the five of us are now in the United States, and everybody's a physician.
Wow.
So we're supposed to come back to work together, but we never did because I am from El Salvador. We have a civil war in the between. So all my friends said, no, don't come back. It's too bad here. So
Yeah.
we stay in the United States.
Okay. So who's been kind of a hero or an inspiration for you in your life?
Hero for me.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess I followed after my dad. I guess he was a mentor for me. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a physician. I guess that was my hero. I never used the word hero, but yes, that was my mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you can meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating, who would it be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
I would have two. I would be Elon Musk
Okay.
and Steve Jobs.
Okay. There you go. Very cool. So, let me ask you this. Have you seen an uptick in neurological issues since the pandemic began? Has there been anything that's statistically been corollary saying things have increased, or has it just kind of been status quo?
No, what has increases memory problems because maybe the new medication for Alzheimer's, so that people are more worried about that. And then, yes, definitely, there's a lot of referral for memory problems because in the past, you say, well, I am 68. have problem with my memory, I'm getting older, that's it. Now people start getting worried. Maybe it's more than just a senior moment, maybe something else.
Yeah.
So we see increase on that.
So, do you ever see a time where maybe Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, we can get to the scientific point where we can reverse that and we can fix it as humans?
Well, with Alzheimer's right now, in the last 10, 15 years, we treat the symptoms basically. We use medication that are very popular, two medications very popular. But now we have disease modifying medication. We actually working on the cause of the problem. In Alzheimer's, amyloid plaque that getting accumulated in the brain and destroying the neurons. Now we have medication that destroy the amyloid plaques, so the neurons are not being affected. And the sooner you make the diagnosis, you know how much chance to do better. I mean, there's no question about it. So this started 2 years ago. The
Yeah.
research maybe started 20 years ago, but the result start happening now.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So, what's your motivation to do the work that you do? Every day you wake up, you're helping people. What
Mhm.
is that for you? What's the motivation?
Well, I always like to see that the patient get better. That you think you can help people. In the past, neurology was famous for to make diagnosis and treat nothing, you know. We see people with multiple sclerosis, say you have a multiple sclerosis, but then there's no treatment, just, you know, treat your symptom, headache, whatever you have. And ALS, still no treatment. There's a treatment, but you only delay for July, maybe 6 more months. But MS, I've seen probably 32 new medication coming after being in practice. Migraine, by example, is a tremendous change in migraines. Now we have so many medication for migraine that just it's very rare that somebody who cannot be controlling her migraine because we had new medication coming probably about 5 years. I mean, so Parkinson, the same thing. There's so many medication for Parkinson. There's no that's the way to diagnose Parkinson for sure. That before we didn't have it. So neurology is growing tremendously. I mean, it's becoming very exciting. A stroke, in particular, stroke. I don't know my book about the stroke, but what happened is when I start practicing neurology, you have a stroke, one baby aspirin a day, that's it.
Yeah.
Physical therapy. Now you have to show up really fast the first 3 or 4.5 hours because some patients have a clot. You see the clot, you can dissolve it, or you can have the second treatment is suction the clot basically. So this is in simple word, but that's a tremendous difference. I mean, the clue is, or the key is really to go to the hospital early as soon as you can, you know.
So
You
you've
had
been
they call the fast. Mhm.
Yeah, no, 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 I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
There's something called, yeah, there's something called fast.
Okay.
Face, arm, and speech. The face is affected, arm is affected, speech affected. T mean time to call 911, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah, for
really
sure.
can make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the 3 plus decades you've been practicing medicine, what has been the biggest breakthrough that you've witnessed? Medical breakthrough
Probably
that
a
has
stroke.
Yeah, yeah,
A stroke. I mean, the treatment with a stroke has completely changed.
yeah.
I mean, it's a dramatic change. One of the reasons I become a neurologist because my uncle died from a stroke, and I remember he has this massive stroke. He was not able to talk. He was just making some unrecognizable words and paralyzed one side. And he died from the stroke in the first 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And that was very impressive for me. I was probably 15 or 16 when that happened.
How old
Um,
was he at the time?
he was probably 70.
Okay. Okay.
That was in my country, you know.
Yeah.
I would know, yeah, I remember that. That was
Yeah.
probably one of the reasons I get curious about neurology.
Yeah. So of all of the patients that you've helped, what's been one of the best success stories?
Uh, I have a patient who I went to see him because he was not able to move. And then when I saw him, I said, oh my God, this guy has Parkinson, but has no tremors. You see, Parkinson is famous for the tremor, but he didn't have tremor, but has other features. The face, like cannot have expression on his face. He was very stiff. So we give one tablet of this Parkinson medication 2 hours later, he wake up and get up from the bed and went to the nurse station and said, "Hey, I can move. This is not arthritis, something else." The doctor just gave me something that was really amazing. I mean, that
Wow.
was like an amazing result. That's one case.
Yeah.
And people get paralyzed completely with a stroke, and people crying, or the family accept and get that called the TPA, and then patient 2 hours later is back to normal. So
Wow.
that's in various times that that's very incredible. Yeah, that kind of success. You feel
Almost seems
really
like
good about.
almost seems like a miracle when that kind of thing happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or patient come crying with migraines, and you give a tablet, and then 20 minutes later say, "What happened to my migraine? Now I'm fine."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
let's yeah, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say, you've lived this whole life of helping people and being a physician. If you had a dream tonight, ran into a younger version of you, say 18 years old, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life, what advice would you give that young version of you?
So, okay. Well, keep studying hard, and then that you have a keep a good work ethics,
Yeah.
because you can get where you want to go. I want to go to United States. That was one of my dreams. But I can't just. My dream was to came to the United States to have a specialty here and come back to my country. You
Yeah.
know, but because the Civil War, we weren't able to do that. My dad was. He did the same thing. He came to the United States, have a specialty, and come back to El Salvador. But my mentor was killed in El Salvador, so I wasn't able to come back.
So have you been back at all?
I did. Oh yeah, I was there 2 months ago.
Okay. All right.
Everything every year. I mean, yeah.
What's the greatest thing about El Salvador? I don't know a lot about the country, but what is it that you love the best about the country?
For tourists, probably the beaches. We have wonderful beaches that are famous for surfing. I live in Merritt Island. I met several people here who have been going to El Salvador for surfing, including my manager.
Yeah.
She went to surfing 30 years ago. My primary doctor, he was surfing to El Salvador. I said, "Really?" Yeah, I mean, because I don't do surfing, but there's a lot of people who go for surfing.
Yeah.
It's also not for coffee. We have very coffee.
Yeah.
My mom has a coffee farm at that time.
Okay.
Now there's a lot of stuff going on in El Salvador.
Yeah.
Seeing people liking what's going on in El Salvador, a big change happening over there.
Yeah.
Seeing it getting better.
So of all of these things that you've done in your life and you're very accomplished, what are you the proudest of?
My family.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been married for 43 years.
Very nice.
I have 3 kids, and one is a PhD and work for Boeing Corporation.
Okay.
My daughter is in her 4th year her own PhD. She's in College Station. She's going to be a psychologist. My middle son is a software engineer with a master in interactive media. I call video games. He designed video games, and he has 2 kids, and we love them. And I have my son in St. Louis with Boeing Corporation has 3 grandkids. 2 months ago, when in Salvador all together, we have 15 family members, all
Wow.
the grandkids, everybody.
That's wonderful. So you probably
Yeah.
have really good family gatherings, good conversations.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah.
S- So let me ask you this. Everyone out there has a perception of you. Family, friends, all of your patients, but you're in control. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
The perception from my family about me,
No, your perception, your personal one. Who do you think you are?
I think a physician has been successful in my practice. I've seen patients like me. I think I've been successful in my family. I mean, we're very close to my 3 kids. We're very close to my son-in-law, very close to my 2 daughters-in-law, definitely very close to the grandkids. That little one, the oldest is 8 years old. The
Yeah,
little one is 2 years old. So the little one.
yeah.
So very close to my brother who is in El Salvador, was very close to my other brother who passed with COVID 2 years ago. Close to my sister who live in El Salvador. So family-wise, I mean, I think very successful in that sense.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, if anyone wants to reach out, learn more about you, get involved with your practice, anything about your world, where can they go?
Well, with the book that I just wrote, we designed a website that probably people can go there and see what we're doing here. Our office has a website, but very few people use it. But I've been here for 33 years. I'm very well known in the area. I mean, work in 3 hospitals now. I used to work in 2 hospitals, then only 1 hospital. Any doctor in town probably know me. I mean, it's just, after being for so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about your book.
Yeah, what happened in neurology, you see patients with strokes. Okay, this is a very common thing that you see. About 800,000 people have a stroke every year in this country. So it's a lot of people. And
Yeah.
150,000 die from a stroke. So it's a very serious condition. And about 300,000 has problem with the speech, either has a slurred speech or cannot talk, has tremendous problem with communication. But most of them, about in 2 or 3 months, they're able to go by and able to talk, and then eventually can communicate, even maybe talking slowly, maybe a little bit slower speech, but it still can communicate. But about 60,000 people every year, they never, ever, ever regain the speech again. They cannot talk. When they want to talk, they say something nobody understands what they're saying. And they cannot write either because basically the same center in the brain. And usually when that happens, you're paralyzed one side. So what happens with these people is they go to the hospital, then they call the neurologist, you do the CAT scan or MRI, you call physical therapy, you control the diabetes, you control the blood pressure, do whatever you want. After 1 week, you are stable, send you to a rehab center, for physical therapy or a nursing home. So you stay there for 4 or 5 weeks. They call the speech therapy, and you're still not able to talk. Doesn't matter what you do, you never were able to talk, but you understand, you have comprehension. So what happened after 5 weeks, the insurance run out, they send you home. And the family had no idea what to do with you because you cannot talk. So when you ask them a question, say, are you on pain? Just, you just make noises. Do you want to the bathroom? Make noises again. So it's very annoying for the family because they have no idea. You have to go with yes and no question. And then what happened, the rest of the family, they don't want to be around you because they know you are cranky, you are upset, and they don't know how to relate to you. So
Yeah.
eventually, after a few weeks, the patient gave up. They say, I'm stuck with this condition. I'm not going anywhere. And then he gave up. And a few days later, the family gave up. And then you officially are a part of the furniture in the house. They put you on a sofa in front of the TV and don't bother grandpa because he's always cranky. Your family doesn't want to talk to you. Your friend doesn't want to talk to you because they feel awkward. They don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
So I told my wife, well, I feel bad about this. I think we need to do something about this. So I had the idea to develop a system in which using one hand, it's a one-hand sign language, basically. I decided these people can use one hand. So why don't we develop or put together a one-hand sign language? We use sign language all the time. You want to say hello, just come in, bye-bye, this is good, this is bad. I say, well, why don't we put 100 signs, simple signs? So, the real sign language is about 25,000 words. So it's impossible to teach somebody with a stroke 25,000 words. So I had to use something simple like a 100 sign, and I decided to have 20 of these already. You know them, so the patient had the message. It's not difficult. You already know 20 of those. Okay, and I encourage the family members to also use their own sign, their own new sign. You can have your own sign because you want to have a sign for a Starbucks. Maybe have a sign for a Starbucks.
Yeah.
So what happened? This book have 100 signs. Every page is 2 3 lines in which explain the sign. It's a bilingual book. It's in Spanish, also in English. So I have a lot of pictures because people like pictures. So the pictures showing the sign in 2 3 lines, and then in 2 3 weeks, people start communicating with your family because the family can talk to you, but you need to understand what the patient his signs are. And it's not difficult. So basically, then the patient is out from this hole, is out for this darkness, and can communicate with the family. So suddenly the patient is not isolated, and everybody in the family can learn that. It's not difficult, you know. So what happened is that make a difference. The patient, when I told them, the patient gets surprised. Nobody, I mean, I mean, we using that before. I mean, everybody use signs, You
Yeah.
see baseball players,
Yeah.
they have all the catcher, man, all the sign to the all the codes, and
Yep.
you see all the SWAT team making sign when they're trying to attack somebody. I mean,
Yep.
so they say, why don't we use the same thing? We use
Yeah.
signs, simple signs, but only one hand. That's the clue, one sign,
Yeah.
because the patient had the right to communicate, so they can come back and can communicate. That's basically the book.
So where could people pick up the book? Where's the best place?
I'm sorry.
Where's the best place to pick up the book?
Oh, we have a website. You can go to Amazon. You look at the name. You can look at one-handed book. You
Okay.
can put my name and then Dr. Mixco, and then we'll pop up over there. And we develop some codes that the people. Well, I have in my office very easy because I have some bookmarkers, so I give it to the patient so they
Okay.
can use the camera and then can go to the website.
Okay.
But there's that is how the website have a outdoor page in the Amazon. But you put in Amazon, just put Dr. Misco one hand book, and they will show up there.
Excellent.
They will be there.
Perfect. Dr. Mixco, this has been wonderful. Thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for your time, sir. I appreciate it too.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good
Take care.
day.
You too.